Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Today I'm going to be going through Book 1, Alone Against the Flames. This is the solo adventure included with the Call of Cthulhu starter set, put out for the 7th edition version of the Call of Cthulhu game by Chaosium Incorporated. This will contain spoilers for the adventure itself, since I will be going through the whole thing. This might end up being a two-part video, 2 or 3-part, I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take to go through, but if you are planning on picking up this set and you don't want any spoilers on how the adventure goes, then I recommend skipping this until you get the opportunity to go through it yourself. And it is sort of a choose your own adventure kind of concept, so it'd be interesting to see how the two, like how yours might stack up with what my playthrough of it is. But hold off on watching this until you get that opportunity if it's something that you plan on doing yourself. I will be doing an actual final review of the Call of Cthulhu starter set shortly after I get this video out. The main goal of this is to see how well Book 1 really teaches you the game and teaches you how to create characters. I've purposefully not read through the second book, the actual rule book. I do know a few aspects of the rules just by watching like some of the Acquisition Incorporated Call of Cthulhu videos that have come out, so I know the basics of it, and I've sort of known the basics of the percentile system for a while anyway, so that part of it's not going to be too big of an issue, but I've never actually made a character using the Chaosium version of the rules, only the D20 version, which I also have. So, like I said, we're going to be going through Book 1, Alone Against the Flames. I'll make some probably horrible choices, but we'll see how it goes in terms of creating the character. Again, this is part of the Call of Cthulhu starter set, which is available on Chaosium's website. And if you're interested in ordering it, I would recommend checking out the Penny Arcade videos for the Call of Cthulhu stuff, because I believe they have, well, they do have, I'm pretty sure it's still valid, because I just used one not that long ago, but they do have a 10% off code that I would highly recommend using if you want to pick up some of the stuff from their site. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. I did look enough on through Book 1 to note that it does say to have Book 2, the introductory rules, with you, because you may need to reference it as part of the adventure here. So we're going to be going through and doing that. Alright, so we're going to start off actually with just some basic information on how to roll the dice, what role-playing games are, overviews of the games, just some of the basic stuff that you find in a lot of introductory products. But we're looking for the actual adventure itself, so I'm actually going to pull this a little bit closer. Bring this down, we're going to zoom in a little bit here. So like I said, this is a video with spoilers in it. I'm going to make sure that that is included in the title and description. So if you don't want spoilers, then you really want to stop here. Like I said, come back once you've had a chance to play through it yourself, and we'll see how different some of these options are. So for everyone else, let's dive in, shall we? So this is Alone Against the Flame. Alone Against the Flames is a solo introductory adventure. So you choose different options here. Each option is numbered, and obviously you start at number 1. So number 1 reads, "The sun is high in the sky, a merciless ball of heat. You feel scorched by the time you reach the bus halt in front of Osborne's drugstore. It's a relief to put down your heavy cases and take off your hat for a moment. You fan your face. It has been a long summer here in your hometown, and yet a curiously empty one. You look across the street at the grubby butcher shop, the grocer's with its faded awning, and the shabby tobacconist. Mistrustful faces glare at you as they pass, eyeing your clothes and luggage. It was your parents' choice to live here, not yours. You were happy down south as a child, among Providence's white-walled houses and leafy churchyards. Perhaps this new job in Arkham will supply the change you need. Yet everybody you know in the world lives here. You know nobody in Arkham, not one soul. You ask yourself one last time if you are doing the right thing. The answer is here. None of your supposed friends have come to see you off. You are alone. Whatever challenges lie in Arkham, it will be a new life, and a brave one. A small gray motor coach approaches and rattles to a stop. You put your hat back on and pick up your cases. And it tells you to go to entry number 263 which is way back here. So 263 says, two young men with sullen expressions alight from the coach. One looks you up and down before heading away. The driver also steps down, glancing at you, before crossing the road to visit the tobacconist. When he returns, he is rolling a cigarette between his yellowed fingers. He gives a final twist and examines you as he reaches for his matchbox. He is a thin man in his 50s, dressed in a stained shirt with bus company emblem, yet his eyes are sharp in their dark sockets. Where to? You show him your ticket for Ossipee. From there, you will connect to Rochester and Portsmouth before the coastline to Newbury, and finally Arkham. You should be able to afford a rail ticket for at least some of the way, otherwise this will be the first of many long bus trips. The driver scratches the match and lights a cigarette. The end flares and he takes a draw. Then he exhales, gestures to the back of the coach. Luggage rack's up there. So now it says, look at your investigator sheet. At the top, you have spaces for 8 characteristics: strength, constitution, power, dexterity, appearance, size, intelligence, and education. Allocate the following values among them, writing them in large square beside each. So 40, 50, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 80. If you would like more information about what characteristics mean, read page 7 on book 2. So when you've done this, go to entry number 8. So this is where we start filling in our character sheet. So I'm just going to move this off here. So I have a photocopy of the character sheet. We'll just zoom out a little bit here. But you can see where we have strength, con, size, dex, appearance. I think that's what it was. Yeah, appearance, education, intelligence, power, and movement rate. I don't think it mentions movement rate as of yet, so we're just going to go through our characters. So first of all, we need our character's name. So I'm just going to fill that in now because I sort of have an idea of a name that I want. Alright, so we're going to go with Jonathan Pennyworth. So occupations. This is one of those things that I think I need to start looking at right now because it says to allocate those stats. So allocate usually means that you choose where to put them instead of just necessarily putting them in that order. Because it doesn't say to fill it in precisely, it says to allocate. So I'm going to go ahead and the character concept that I have is sort of maybe like an eccentric academic character. So I think the 80 is going to go into intelligence. The 40 is going to go into strength. I know that much for sure. Education will do the 70. So that's the 80, 70. So we have 2 60s and 3 50s. Appearance, we'll give the appearance of 50. Sort of uninteresting and boring looking. We'll give 50 for size as well. And then we'll go 50 for power, because he's not necessarily particularly strong. And then that gives us just the 2 60s, so we have constitution of 60 and a dexterity of 60. So we have our stats there. As you can see, they are filled in. So next, it says, once we've done all that, we go to entry number 8. So we've got to go way back to the earlier parts of the book. Interesting that they've all been like the top left-hand corner so far. Alright, so the driver smokes and watches as you drag cases to the back of the motor coach. The rack is set inconveniently high on the vehicle. You get a grip on the heavier case. So it says if your size is 40, go to entry 23. If your size is higher than this, go to 38. So yeah, you were able to allocate where you want to put them. My size was 50, my strength was 40. So it's SIZ instead of STR, so we're going to go to entry number 38. Alright, so 38. Says the driver continues to enjoy his cigarette, watching you with keen interest as you struggle with the cases. You grit your teeth, you heave the second one into place. Perhaps the residents of Arkham will have better manners. Go to 233. The driver flicks his cigarette into the gutter and steps into the motor coach. Its engine coughs into life. You board, grateful that you will be the only passenger for the initial part of the trip at least. With mixed emotions, you watch from the window as the tired avenues of your old home slip behind you, receding into the distance. For a few minutes, you can still see the church spire over the brow of the low hill. Then the road dips and it too is gone. Arkham is your new home. You will travel there and make a new start. So here we have, you will see two smaller boxes to the right of each characteristic value. Half each value, rounding down, and write this is the result in the upper right box. Also divide the value by 5, again rounding down. And write the result in the lower box. We use these numbers later. If you are using the interactive PDF version of this, you can see the sheet does the math for you. In the strip below, you'll see the tracks that record sanity and magic points. Beginning sanity is equal to your power, and beginning magic points are the same value you've just assigned to power divided by 5. Okay, so I think there was a chart for the half, and yeah, here we go. Quick reference for half and fifth values. Like I said, I didn't really read the book, but I did flip through and I saw that. So we're just going to go ahead and fill in those halves and the fifths. So we'll start with strength. So 40, half of 40 is 20, and then the fifth value is listed here as 8, which is actually really simple math. I don't know why I struggle with that, but still. I drank my morning coffee, just hasn't kicked in yet. So Constitution we have 60. So half of 60 is 30, and then 1/5 of that is 12. Size is 50, half of that is 25, and then 1/5 of 50 is 10. Dexterity we've already done, which is 60, so we have 30, 12. Appearance is 50, which is 25, 10. Education is listed at, or I assigned a 70 to it. So we got 35 for the half. And the 1/5 value is put down here as 14. Intelligence is at 80, so half of 80 is 40. And then 1/5 of that is 16. And then power is 50, which we've already done, as 25 and 10. Alright, so now we have magic points and sanity. So sanity was equal to your power. Right? Did I read that right? Sanity is equal to my power. My power is 50. So we've got, I'll zoom back out here. So we've got our sanity here, and so I'm just going to find the 50 and just circle it, which is how they have it done on the ready-made characters. And then our magic points is equal to our power divided by 5, so that gives us 10. So we have 10 magic points, and again I'll do the same thing there, just circle the 10. So as you can see, that is our new, what the sheet looks like now. So once we've done that, it says go to 134. All right. 134. The coach putters through the countryside. At first, the interior is stifling and your stomach lurches with every bend in the road. However, the driver opens up the window, and by switching seats you find a spot where the breeze hits your face. You soon relax into the journey, observing the quaint little hamlets that the coach serves. A heavy-set woman boards at one settlement and gives you a polite nod. She gets off at the next one. The road rises a little, passing cornfields and orchards. The leaves are turning, and the trees are alive with glorious reds and golds. You have just begun to doze off when the driver takes a tight bend at speed. So it says add your size and con together, then divide that total by 10, rounding down. This is the starting value for your hit points. So size and con, so that's 110. Divided by 10 is 11. So we've got our hit points here. And we've got, 11. All right, so let's see here. So that's rounding down, that's turning hit points. Mark it on your investigator sheet. Your current total may drop, but it's unlikely to exceed the starting value. You also have a luck score, so roll 3 6-sided dice. We call those 3d6. Multiply your result by 5 to get your beginning luck score, and mark it on your investigator sheet. So we got, I just have the 1d6 here, but we'll roll 3 times. So we got 5, 7, and that is 11. So we then multiply that by 5. Yeah. So that gives us a total luck of 55. 11 times 5 is 55. So we've got our luck here, and we're just going to circle the number 55. Okay, so we got that there. So now you must roll against your dex. So roll a d100. This means rolling 2 10-sided dice and using the value for the 10s, one for the 10s and one for the 1s units. If you rolled equal to your dex or less, you passed the roll. If you rolled greater than your dex, you failed the roll. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll that there. Our dexterity is 60, so I need to get 60 or less. That's 26. Okay, so that is a success. I passed the roll because I got less than the dexterity score of 60. It also says you may be tempted to skip the rules and simply pretend you always pass, but Call of Cthulhu is a game of mystery and horror. The terrible disasters that can befall your character are part of the fun, which absolutely. You'll not necessarily have more fun if you pass every roll than if you had failed. So if you passed your dex, you go to 261. If you failed, you go to 59. So I did pass, so I'm going to go to 261. And we'll just put that dice back. All right, so 261 says, a desperate yell awakens you. You feel yourself slide from the seat as the driver spins the wheel and the motor coach plunges off the road. You grab hold of the seat in front just in time to prevent a painful fall. The coach stops with a thump. Now you see what has happened. A Fordson tractor has stopped in the road, and your driver has had to swerve to avoid the steel obstacle. He leaps from his seat into the road, unleashing a string of curses at the farmer. You take a moment to catch your breath. Perhaps you should offer assistance, but the driver has already returned. He backs the coach up a little bit and threads it around the tractor, glaring at the farmer. Go to entry 71. You resume your journey. The driver takes the curves with more caution than before. He glances over his shoulder at you a couple of times. Sorry about that, he says. That fellow was dumber than a hog. I'm Silius. What's your name? The accident was at least as much Silius' fault as the farmer's, but it doesn't seem shrewd to antagonize the man while he is driving through the middle of nowhere. So just make up your name for your character, so I've already done that. Jonathan Pennyworth. And then, you may add your age. For the purpose of this venture, you should probably be between the ages of 26 and 36. Okay, so I will just go with age. I'll just make him 27. We'll do that. He's also male, so we'll do that as well. All right, so we have the name information there. So the coach turns on a narrower road. Whoop. The coach turns on a narrow road, where it weaves uphill through woodland. Silius becomes chatty. Going to Arkham, eh? Can't say I've ever heard of the place. Went to Boston once. Didn't like it. Too much hustle and bustle. You got family there? Special someone waiting? The afternoon is wearing on. You see no harm in confiding in Silius about your new life. A job, eh? What's your line? So choose one of the occupations for your character from the following options: antiquarian, doctor of medicine, journalist, private investigator, or professor. I'm actually going to go with professor, I think. He has a high education and a high intelligence, so it could be either that or a doctor, but I think I'm actually going to go with professor. So occupation is professor. Okay, and because I'm a professor, I go to 265. So there is a lot of flipping here. $265. You explain that you are joining the faculty at the renowned Miskatonic University. It's only a junior position with teaching and tutoring duties, but the institution is well regarded. Who knows where the appointment might lead? A symposium, a visiting lecture, even one of its world-spanning expeditions. Silas wrinkles his nose. I had enough of book learning when I was a young'un. Still, I suppose it's well enough for those who like it. Okay, so it looks like I need to go on to my second sheet here. And my credit level. Or is that on the first page? So it says your credit rating skill. Oh, that's a skill. Okay. So my credit rating skill is at 30%. So once again, we're still on the first page actually. So we got our investigator skills, then we have credit rating. So out of 100, so that is 30%. So we've got that filled in. Your occupation skills are library use, other language, specify one, own language, and psychology. You may pick 4 other skills, not including the Cthulhu mythos, as relevant academic or personal specialties. Allocate the following values among these occupation skills, writing them in the large squares beside each. So we got 70, 260s, 350s, and 240s. So our occupation skills, we got library use. So I'm going to put a 60 into library use. I'll show you the sheet once I got it done here. So library use, we're going to go with 60. Let's see, other languages. So language other, I'm going to put I'll put a 60 into that as well. And I will choose, let's go with, we'll go with German, why not? For language, and then my own language should probably be, I'm going to put the 70 in there actually. So I will be like a languages professor. So teach like English and maybe even substitute in or do some stuff for like German. So I kind of like the way that that's shaping up. So we got the 60, the 70, we got the 260s and the 70Us. So we have 350s and 240s. So we have psychology next as one of our main class skills. I'm going to put a 50 into psychology. So that is a 50. And then I have 4 more that I can choose. So I still have 250s and 240s. So we'll go with psychoanalysis. And let's put another 50 into there as well. Spot hidden. I'll put, see, I got one more 50, so I'll put another 50 into spot hidden. Whoops, that's the wrong spot. Speaking of spot hidden. Okay, so then we will do We have two 40s. So let's go with history. I'll put a 40 into history. And let's just put a 40 into anthropology. Why not? Alright, so here we have our skills. So credit rating 30. So you can see those are all filled in. Ignore any starting value mentioned on the investigator sheet. Okay, I'm assuming at some point we're going to have to do the half and fifth values as well for that. But it doesn't say to do it yet, so let's just go to 128. Alright, so 128. So you realize Silius hasn't made a stop since the incident with the tractor. The motor coach winds its way uphill. However, your thoughts are interrupted as the road crests a ridge and you are treated to a magnificent view of the vista below. A creek snakes through the valley, breaking the rich autumn palette of the tree line. In the distance, the white mountains... in the distance, the white mountains rise into hazy cloud. There is no settlement, not even a cabin as far as the eye can see. Birds drift through the treetops, and you can just make out what might be two white-tailed deer lingering by the water. Perhaps you were making a mistake by moving to the city. Could you survive on your own in this lush wilderness? You have a base ability in most skills. Listed in... Oh. Wait a minute. That doesn't actually... Okay. That's not the italicized stuff. So it says you have a base ability in most skill, listed in brackets after the skill name on the investigator sheet. For instance, you have 20% in climb and a base dodge equal to half your dex. So it says choose 4 skills which are not your occupation skills. These are your personal interest skills. Boost these by 20 points. At this point, you may like to calculate the half and fifth values for each skill at the same time, which you can find the chart for in Book 2. Remember to round down. If you are bored of calculations, you can leave the math until it becomes necessary, or you can be using the interactive PDF version of the investigator sheet, which I don't have, and then it says to go to 144. So I will choose my skills, and we'll have that part be the end of part 1 of this video, I think. So we would have our ability scores filled out, our hit points, sanity, magic points, and then we would have our skills and stuff. So that is where we will finish off this video. So let me just fill those in real quick. I'll do all the half and fifth values, and I will be right back. Alright, so we have our profession skills as well as our personal skills all chosen and filled out with their half values and their fifth values. So the ones that I've got filled out here, so anthropology is at 40, archaeology I put at, so that was a personal one, that went from 1% up to 21% because you boosted that one by 20. Credit rating of 30, dodge is half my dex, is 60, so my dodge is 30. Fast talk starts at 5%, so I decided to have that as well, since he might be able to think quickly on his feet, to get him talk himself out of a situation. So that is at 25. History at 40. The German language at 60%. My own language, which would be English, is at 70. Library use is at 60, and then I have for another personal one, occult starts at 5%. I increased it, so that's 25. Persuade at a base of 10%. That was one of my personal ones as well, so again, kind of a fast talker sort of character, so that's at 30. Psychology and psychoanalysis are both at 50. And then we have spot hidden at 50 as well. So, like I said, I think that's where we're going to leave this part of the video. So we've actually filled in quite a bit of the sheet so far. So we come back for part 2, and we are going to be going to entry number 144. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.